our new product, RXT21, we say. It's a smart connected hemodialysis machine. But before I get to that, I would like to tell you what is that we are trying to envisage and what we are doing. Kidney care is one thing which has been quite neglected in our country, and it's also in globally. This is a special organ in our body which has 6 times more capacity than what is needed for a normal operation. Okay, so because of that, it gets abused, it gets neglected. Anything in abundance always has this problem. Unfortunately, what we see is in today's world, there are these non-communicable diseases like diabetes and hypertension, which actually is growing in a big way, and 1 out of 5, are either diabetic or hypertensive, and there is one more, who is not even knowing that they have diabetes or hypertension. So that way we have two people in every 5 who are sort of having diabetes or hypertension and in the various stages. The big problem with this non-communicable disease is that it has comorbidity like the diabetic nephropathy, then there is the retinopathy and then neuropathy and all these. Among them, the nephropathy, which is the one which causes chronic kidney disease, is a very silent killer, because the person will not get to know that they have a problem until it has reached the end stage. It's highly asymptomatic, and once they get some symptoms, they go to the doctor to get a bad news that they have to go for dialysis. They have lost both their kidneys and the kidney function has come to less than 15%. So there is no way they can survive. Either they have to do a transplant or go for a dialysis. So this has been the scenario. So what we at Renalyx want to do is that we want to extend the life of this kidney. We want to detect the problem at a much early stage. On the onset of the chronic kidney disease, we call it a CKD. And this can be done very easily. Doesn't need a very complicated test. So we have started with that. We have a technology which is patented and it's US patent grant also on that, with which we are in a position to do a self-test of using the mobile app, which we call it as the Reach app, and detect the problem at a very early stage. In fact, stage 1 itself, because it goes through 5 stages, and stage 1 to 4 is the asymptomatic stage of the chronic kidney disease, and if we can detect it at the early stage, then we can help the person to manage the disease progression such a way that they don't go to the end stage fast. Okay. So that is where we are having another technology which is following the very international standard called Kerego standard or NHS standard, and through that we have this app which will, a companion app I would say, which will help the person to manage the disease such that it is their disease progression is arrested. So then, in spite of that, there are so many people who cannot, they are either skipped the early detection, or they might have neglected, or they don't even know that they have to do this sort of a test. The awareness also is a very important aspect. So they may end up, they will end up in the end stage, and for these people who are in the end stage, we want to see that how we can reach out to them with this dialysis service at their convenience, at their place which is closer to where they are living. So if you see today, the entire dialysis system or the centers are all in the bigger cities and towns. There is the T2 and T3, that is Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns and smaller villages also, where we don't have any dialysis. So there is a lot of resource constraints, not only that, we don't have machines, we don't have centers, we don't have dialysis technicians, we don't have so many nephrologists who are one of the very important players in this game. And hence, we came up with this concept or this new machine which actually can be put in this rural setup. It can be put in we can move this also to homes, and it's also the machine. We have another version of this machine which is already there in the market, which actually has the called as PHC dialysis machine. Okay, so we can now connect the most expensive and scarce resources like the nephrologists or senior technicians, nutritionists, cardiologists, all through our telenephrology. And the most important aspect is now when you try to take these things out of the bigger cities and towns and hospitals to a rural setup, you have the patient safety, which is very important. So the machine is smart enough so that through its IoT interface, it can monitor the patient while dialysis is happening. And in case it finds some sort of abnormality like an arrhythmia or palpitation or stress, it will immediately put the machine into the patient into the safe mode and raise alarm on not only on the machine but also on the mobile phone of the nephrologist who has referred the patient. So that way, now the nephrologist can get back through the same app and advise the technician what has to be done. So that's how we are in a position to reach out to the people with this remote monitoring capability, smart features, continuous monitoring, and we have electronic medical record of the patient which is set up, and with that we are in a position to basically make a complete digital nephrology. So we are very happy to say that we are the first in the world to have such a system which is totally digital, totally computerized or cloud enabled, and we have algorithms to basically detect all these problems at the right time, at the right and also help the patient more than anything to get the dialysis much closer to where they are living. So this is our vision. We want to see that every patient who needs dialysis gets this access. If you see today, hardly we are touching around 10 to 12% of the population who are in the end stage getting dialysis. So every year we add 2.5 lakh people to this end stage. So there is a big gap, there is a big opportunity, and a huge social impact is what we are creating. Thank you.